All right, so this is the first part of building out the John Wick AR15. This is my buddy Kevin here.
How y'all doing?
So pretty excited. Most of my parts came in. The only thing I'm just waiting on is like the Trijicon MRO and the BCM 16-inch barrel, but that's it. Otherwise, I'm ready to rock. So here in a little bit, we're gonna start the build. I'm just gonna let Kevin start piecing on or put all the pieces together, and then we'll start from there.
Following your bolt release first, you got the bolt spring, your bolt detent in there. And then you went with the Strike Industries extended, which this is nice. So you got a hole there, and then basically this will sit here. You have to depress it so this pin actually feeds right through it. Just finagling it. Like I said before, you had to actually by hand tap in this detent in, and it took forever. But let's see. You just gotta make sure you depress that spring, and then hopefully it threads in. Yeah. Some people will put, like I said, tape there so you don't scratch it, but I guess I've done enough that I know how not to scratch your lower receiver. And there you go.
This is the master, guys.
This is your bolt release right here, and that's installed. Next up is your magazine release. So you went with the Strike Industries mag release, which I run also, which is nice. So you got your button, the actual magazine release bar, and your spring. So this works. You're gonna start from left to right. So this is what holds the magazine. Then you gotta put your spring and then your button. So the way to install this is it's kind of fun to do, but you have to find what works for you. You have to actually depress the button. Then if you see it's threaded, you actually have to thread and rotate this into the button. So now it's catching the button. You gotta push from the other side to catch the thread, and keep spinning and see how much it's caught. So as you see, it's still sticking out, so you gotta push more and keep threading. A trick I learned from other guys is you basically take another Allen wrench or a bigger one of the push pins, so you can really go deep and make it flush. Righty tighty. So now this is where your preference. With here, you can have it really stick out, or we can even make it more flush.
Mm-hmm.
So is this empty?
Yeah.
So when the mag's in, that's how far your button sticks out, and you can eject the mag. Some guys, if they want a little bit flush, but I have short index finger, so I want mine a little extended out. But we can bring this button shorter if you want.
Okay.
So looking at this, do you want it shorter, or you like the height right now?
Let's try. Do you think we can try the grip on it, and I can kind of like?
Yeah, we can do it. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna work on your trigger. So there's your old magazine release. Put that away.
So everyone, this is just the Polymer 80 lower parts kit. Yes. I am just going to use the trigger temporarily until my Hipertouch competition trigger comes in.
Which those are drop-ins, which is nice. It's easy to drop in. Okay. So these are your old ones. These are your new ones. Okay. So we're gonna do the trigger next. So you got your firing trigger control, and then your actual firing that hits the firing pin. So this is actually, I believe, the hardest part of the lowers, installing this damn spring here. So, as you see how the spring is set, you have to thread that over this metal part of the trigger. And to do so, you just gotta really stretch that spring till it settles. But, as you see, I did it wrong. It snuck underneath. It needs to go on top. So I gotta redo that again. So you got a spring in there that actually is what resets your trigger. So you have to depress that while you're trying to put this spring on. There we go. So word of advice to anyone who's starting to build their AR, make sure you have a magnetic drop or you're not working on carpet, because ask any AR builders with these small parts, under pressure, you got spring, one slip, that part will go flying, and you're screwed. But with practice, you'll figure out a way how to keep these parts installed. Next, you got this spring. So the way this goes on, this bar right here needs to go behind the trigger. That's what puts tension on the trigger. Then it will, when you pull the trigger, this thing goes forward. So this slides through here, but it's always a task. There you go. So the way that sits, oh, my mistake, opposite way. This is supposed to go in front, because the way it sits in your lower receiver, this is what's compressed in the lower receiver. This one's the one that's a butt head to put on. That's why today's triggers are all just drop-in. There you go. Okay. So in the lower receiver, that sits right here, and that sits like this. So when it's ready to fire, it'll go bang. Same with here. Okay. So we're now moving on to installing your trigger.
This is the magic behind the pew pew.
Yes, it is. So, I'm sorry, I need to redo that. This actually goes underneath, because that's what creates the tension. So that bar. Yeah, like the Hipertouch, the Rise Armament, the Geissele, those are just drop-ins. You don't have to finagle with this stuff. Okay, so the way this sits in, you got your trigger, the spring, and right into the hole there. Now this is the fun part too. So the way the trigger stays in are through these pins. Now this part, you have to push down on the trigger till you can see that hole in the trigger lines up with the lower receiver hole, and then you gotta push that pin right through. Sometimes I can get on the first try. Sometimes you just gotta finagle it till the pin settles in. I wish there was an easier way on this, but there's not. Until you see the trigger going in. Come on. So I can see the pin until it goes in. Ta-da. Oh, I push one. Sometimes. So there's your trigger. Now, the exact same thing. So like I said, in the trigger there's holes here that correspond with the holes there. So these two bars sit right on top of the trigger. And then I gotta depress the trigger. There's the hole. Line it up. Okay. Yeah, come up. There it is. Come on. Nope. Missed. So, it all takes practice. Trying to get that pin in. There you go. So, I like to look on the other side, see where I have to either push back or push down. Looks like it's down and back. Let's see. Down and back. Ow, your spring is brand new, I can tell. Let's see if I can. Okay, so I'm gonna push back and down. And we are in. Almost. I'm gonna push back. That is a tough pin. I can see the hole. Let's see. All right, and that trigger system, do a quick test. Never let it slam the trigger to your when it's open like this. All right, you don't want to damage your bolt release. You just all right. Start the mil-spec trigger is installed. Let's move on to your safety. That's a plastic. All right, so. Standard lower parts kits come with a one-sided safety, but you went with the Seekins Ambi safety, which is nice. Interesting packaging. Looks like if they vacuum seal this thing. Let's see. Aha. Okay. Don't want to lose your detents and your screws. All right, so there's your screw, and then your springs are there. All right, Seekins, you need to work on your packaging. Okay. We have that set. Okay. So you got your safety. And when you install your safety, you want to lock your trigger back first. Because when you install it, it's going to be in the fire position. So, let's see. Let's install the right side first. And it looks like it's just a simple Allen wrench. Nope, this is a bigger size. Nope, bigger than that. Nope, bigger than that. Well, there's so many Allen wrenches size. Cut this out. There you go. Okay. No, that's still too small. What the heck? Oh, that's too. Don't tell me it's this one. Nope, too small. Probably like this. Yep. Okay. Let's put these back.
So to everyone who's watching right now, Kevin is actually a really good shooter. I've been
follow him on Instagram. Hey.
So I've been following him for a long time. He's one of my good buddies. Also does great photography as well. But you know, I've been watching him for the last few years, and I mean his times when he does his drills, they just get better and better every year. But you know, this guy kind of inspired me with my AR build, because I never wanted to own an AR, but then a couple people in my friend circle decided to, and then I said, look, Kevin, I want you to help me build something. And so I started piecing this together from parts on the internet, just getting the research out there. Went to Taran Tactical site and just pretty much started building it up. So for those that also don't know, like, John Wick is one of my favorite movies. And you know, this is kind of my tribute to him and Taran Tactical. So this is another reason why I'm doing this build.
Alright. So a little shameless plug about my Instagram. Starting every Tuesday, I'll be posting new drills for you guys to practice at home. So you can get better on your own, dry fire sessions and your range sessions. So, alright, so now we install the safety from the left to the right. So if you want to take a look here, so in the safety there's a little groove here. This groove is where your detent, your safety detent, sits. You point it down in the fire position, and this is your detent right here. It's almost like a bullet shape. You got a straight edge that goes in the curve, and then a flat edge, which the flat edge corresponds with your grip. So it's, like I said, a lot of people will say put your spring in lower than put your grip in, but I don't know how you can stand that without putting the grip in bending when you can just put it in the grip. And then just slowly slide this in until it sits in. Just a little nudge, get in the hole there, and you're set. I thought this was just a random thing in the bag, but this is actually a washer. You want to use the washer in your grip. Yes, use the washer, because over time your grip will get loose. You don't want that to happen in the middle of a gunfight.
And for those of you who don't know what grip this is the Hogue overmolded grip.
I highly recommend this grip. So in a couple seconds I'll show you what a standard grip looks like, and just imagine your bare hands gripping this, because it's a standard mil-spec grip, versus the Hogue. So you want to make sure it's tight. Okay, so this is your standard mil-spec. You have a nice finger groove, but it's rough. I don't know about you, I want something nice and solid I can grip for a long period of time shooting when I'm out in the range. The Hogue, you have more finger grooves, and it's like a tough rubber, I believe. So, and it's a very, very comfy. So I highly recommend the Hogue grip. So, alright, so the grip's on, your safety's on. Let's do a quick safety check. So right now it's in fire. Remember, don't slam it. Pull the trigger. Trigger goes off. Put it on safe. Trigger doesn't go off. And your safety works. Always check if your safety works. Okay. Now, because it's an ambi, we install the other side, which is just a simple Allen wrench. Up. I think it's this one.
Now on the Seeker Precision's ambi, everyone, just make sure that when you are installing it, one side is going to be longer than the other.
So that is true.
it's a matter of preference, but you know, if you're lefty,
Put it
you
on
know,
the left,
on the other
one,
side, of
yeah.
course.
And if you're righty, like I am, and like Alex, put it there on the side. All right, your safety's on. Okay, so let's put away your old spare parts. Now let's work on your detent. Okay, well, you went with, oh, the V7. Okay. Into the V7. What's so fancy about these? Oh, okay.
So V7 makes the takedown pins, and they're lightweight.
Oh, yeah. They are. Compared to standard ones. Okay, so we start with the front takedown pins first. And before is one of the hardest parts of building a lower. So, real quick, a demonstration. There's a groove here, a spring sits there, and a detent right here. This detent would sit on top of here. You'd have to hold that down till you're able to get this front takedown pin in. But if you imagine, that's a tough spring to compress, and that small detent, that countless times, just one slip, this thing will go shooting off into the space. That's why Air Precision is nice enough to create a bag just full of these, which I have. However, the company Real Avid became a godsend to all AR builders. If you are building an AR, you need to have one of these. This is the front takedown pin installer. It's 3 pieces. Got a plunger, another plunger, and the support. So they were smart enough to design this that you can install this really easily. So you got your pin, you got your plunger, and that sits right there. So the way this works, we take that out. Then, this is the front. No, this is the old one. This is your new one, front and back. So this sits right here. Yep. Nope. Where's the hole? Okay, so this sits like this. Your plunger goes in. Now, I just noticed this is this one sticks out compared to an Aero Precision, but I guess that's just their design. Okay. So, let's see if I remember. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay. So, in goes the spring. Thread that in. In goes your detent. This plunger decompresses it. So now it's under pressure. And you do not want this thing to go shooting out. But looks like I'm caught on something. Let's carefully pull this out. Detent. And there's your spring. Let's go. I wonder, what was that? Okay. So, funny thing, you brought this up when you first got here. You didn't want to mix up the springs. So, these are your takedown springs. If if you look really closely, one end of it is flat, and the other one actually has another turn. The one that's flat is your front. That's one of my buddies, who's a gunsmith, told me that it helps distinguish the two. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, so we want that one. So that one fed in much easier. So rotate. I wonder why your pen won't accept mine. Alright, I'm going to take a closer look at your lower here, because your pen's not letting me go in.
So for those of you wondering why I have a lot of like Strike Industries parts, they're simple, they're just beautiful, and I love their logo. Other than that, I mean, they're also like light parts as well, but a lot of my friends are also Filipino, so I am going to support the owner. Yep. I'm Chinese myself, but if I want to buy something Chinese, I might as well just get an AK-47, but I'm still like American at heart, so I got to do an AR-15 build.
Intense, lads.
Okay, so after like maybe 30 minutes or so of finagling this, it turns out the P80 spring is not the greatest. So we went with
avoid at all costs.
went with Kevin's Oops kit from Aero Precision, and it works now.
So
Boom.
now it locks there forever.
Yay! Yay!
Yay! Let's get rid of this spring.
Yay!
Okay. Let's move on to your buffer. Yeah, your stock.
Yep.
Your brace.
Now, I ended up going with the BCM Gunfighter SOP Mod 1, just because of its pure beauty. Now, when you take this out, you get two people, because you need leverage here to pull it down, and there's someone to pull the tube out. So it's going to take the hands of God and the jaws of life.
Put in your rear detent. So to do that, you put in your rear takedown detent. Make sure your groove is pointing back, because like with the front, you have a detent. There you go. And using arrow springs, but if you buy a lower parts kit, it will, this is the spring you're looking for. And then that will stick out for now. But we're moving on to your buffer tube. So inside, you have a hole here, your buffer spring retention, then your buffer retention. There, that sticks out. To install this, you have to push down and install your buffer. So this is where it gets tricky. You got to use both hands on this. You got to push this to keep this decompressed. At the same time, when you're screwing this on, this spring doesn't get bent, because this spring will be compressed by your rear back plate, which is pretty cool. You're running a BCM QD sling mount. So what I do is I bring everything to the very, very back first, so I have room to work with, and start rotating in. Keeping an eye on that spring, make sure I don't bend it. And at the same time, keeping the detent decompressed. So I'll show you real quick. So you gotta watch that spring there. And at the same time, you're rotating this just enough until your tube catches the buffer, the detent right here. So there you go. So I'm still pushing it down, turning, watching the spring, and I feel it's caught. That's all you need. Press it. There you go. But you want it nice and straight. You can use any tool to get it straight. It's blowing me up right now. That's okay. So, and then we're gonna push the QD plate and just finger tight. So, let's test your takedown. I bite my nails. Alright, takedown pins work. And that the detent will, you'll see a lot of people who don't have strong fingerprint with finger strength will use an empty AR casing. But yep, that works. Make sure your safety still works. Good. Alright, and you're all set there, and you're all set there. You went with the lightweight buffer spring.
So this is the TTI Lightning buffer spring.
With a standard H2 buffer. Insert it. And that holds your buffer spring and buffer.
So you want to lift it up a little bit, and then it should go right behind that little notch.
Yes. Now, I don't know how you're going to film this. Okay.
We'll just skip this part.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Standard barrel nut should be about 45 pounds. And this is when you, if you're building, you have to purchase certain tools. The tool you need for this is called a torque wrench, and you want this is tightened to 45 feet per pound. All right, so the way we do that, a lot of companies have different ways to work on your AR. I go with Real Avid Tools. They have, you can actually get a full ARs builder set online, where it has every tool you need to build your AR. They're about $200 for your tools to build any AR. So with this, you put it in your brace. Alright. You lock your receiver in. Then your castle nut goes with any standard AR wrench right here. So I like to start high and then hand tight it myself first, and then we'll do standard military specifications. My torque wrench actually attaches to my AR armor's tool, which is nice. Oh, did it backwards. You can find different AR armor's tools and torque wrenches on the online. So it lines up with the castle nut, and you turn till you get the 45 foot per pound. So we're at 20, 30, 40, and 45. And that's how you build a lower receiver. Let's do a quick test of your mag release. So, like we said a while ago, let's see what's comfortable for you. So when your stock is extended, that's the max. You're shooting, and I can, with my hand, I would actually leave yours at this because my finger can reach it. But if your finger can reach comfortably, we can lower it.
Hey everyone, so this is it. This is the lower part. Thanks to Kevin again, but this is it. So for the parts, BCM Sop Mod 1, Hogue overmolded grip. This is the PMag windowed 30 round magazine. This is Taran Tacticals +5 mag in Coyote Brown, and this is Taran Tacticals lower TR1 receiver, P80 trigger, and lower parts kit. Now remember, after this, I would recommend getting an Aero Precision kit, just for everything. This is the Seekins Precision Ambi safety selector. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else, am I, Kevin? Oh, and Strike Industries mag eject button. So we're going to work on the upper receiver, and then we'll go from there. So I threw the upper receiver on pretty quick, and what you're going to notice is I went with the, let me see if I could do this one-handed. So I went with the Radian Raptor. You can see it right here. And this is their LT or light, however you pronounce it. And with that charge handle.
Highly recommend. The design of these Radians are super lightweight, ambidextrous too, which is nice.
So there's that. And you're probably wondering what this shiny little bastard is. I found this site online called Cryptic Coatings, and they PVD coat their, and the BCG is a toolcraft. So it is, I mean, everyone says mil spec, but this is also for like fully auto. The great thing is, if you have not seen Cryptic Coatings, now they have some videos on YouTube where like you could take a paper towel, and once you strip this down, you can just wipe it clean, like 30 seconds or less. And you know, I saw those videos, and that's why I really wanted this. It is not true to the Taran Tactical build, but they do PVD coat their BCGs as well. So you know, it's pretty close. And then this is the VLTOR MRO 1A with a forward assist. Now I'm just waiting on the barrel, and I've got the Handguard from BCM. But you know, the VLTOR, it just looks amazing. And you notice there's going to be a little bit of like a slight color hue on here. It's a little bit more of a bluish tint, but like, you know, without light, it's a little bit you know, blends in better with like the nitride finish. So anyway, almost there, and then I'm just waiting on the Trijicon MRO, the non-HD, because I'm kind of cheap like that. But this is it. But this is it, guys. If you are going to, and maybe I'll upgrade later in the future, I would highly recommend the HD 2.0. It does have the red reticle. The standard MRO just comes with a red dot, but almost there. So I will update in the next video. But that's it, guys. So enjoy.